What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Dragon Ball 24/7 podcast. This is episode 5 of this podcast series. I'm your host, Jesse Goku, and originally in this podcast, we were going to talk about Goku versus Superman, or at least give my opinion on the matter. Now, this is something that I want to address, but I'm going to go ahead and save that for a later time, for a later date. I do apologize in advance for the low quality audio. I had brought my stuff to record. Unfortunately, my portable microphone, which is a really good one, a really good high quality microphone, it has improved the audio of our podcast. I forgot to charge it, and now it's dead. But the show must go on, and I must do what I can to make sure this podcast is done and uploaded, so everyone can watch it and enjoy. In this podcast, I'm going to be talking about Dragon Ball Super episode 41 briefly, and then I'll be talking about Dragon Ball GT. Is it canon or not? Now, Dragon Ball Super episode 41 introduced Zeno, the Lord of everything. Beerus and Champa nearly shit their pants. He said Beerus and Champa literally rushed to meet him, and they bowed before him. Even the Kais ran and bowed before him. And he said that he was watching them and he felt like they were neglecting their work as gods of destruction. Vadus and Whis go forth to complain about their behavior and their actions as of late. And he makes a joke saying, "Oh, I should appoint new gods of destruction." And they're totally freaking out near the point of crying. And then he says, "Just kidding." And then they're just it's kind of funny because they were so scared and they're relieved at the same time. But I want to talk about the interesting thing that he mentioned. He said that he came because the tournament was going on, and it was something they had done without his permission, but he enjoyed what he saw, and so he told them to gather fighters from all 12 universes and do the tournament again in the near future. So we now know what the next arc, if not a future arc in Dragon Ball Super, will be about. He said in the near future, so one can assume this is the very next arc. And this plays homage to the fan-made manga, the Dragon Ball Multiverse, Dragon Ball Z Multiverse. They did say they approached Akira Toriyama with their manga and their idea, and they let him read it. So I guess Akira took that as an inspiration to make Dragon Ball Super. And I'm finally glad to see that they showed who is responsible for appointing the Kais and the Gods of Destruction. Because before Battle of Gods, before Resurrection F, before all this discussion about gods, before GT and Dragon Ball Z, it was mentioned that the Kais were appointed guardians of the universe. They are not actual gods. And people think they are gods, but if you're a god, then why would you be appointed a guardian? Kais are more like protectors to make sure balance is maintained, where the god of destruction is meant to destroy so it can be reborn again. Because he did say that if he was going to destroy Earth, and hopefully it would be reborn as something better. So every planet he destroyed eventually comes back as something new. But that's only planets that he destroys. That does not mean planets that Frieza or Vegeta have destroyed. Now, people are going to mention Broly destroyed, or remember characters such as Broly, Cooler, Bojack, Turles, none of them are canon to the original manga. Akira Toriyama, when he went over Dragon Ball, he went over the manga for Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods. Thus the reason why Gregory was not in the movie. Originally, Gregory is not in Dragon Ball Z the manga. Only Bubbles. They added him to the anime, I guess, as a point of filler to help get the manga further so the anime wouldn't catch up as fast. or who knows why they added him, but he is in the sense filler to the Dragon Ball Z anime because he's not in the manga. Thus the reason why he's not in Battle of Gods. But since Akira Toriyama's only overseeing Dragon Ball Super and overseeing Dragon Ball Super the manga, because Totaro handles the manga and Toei Animation Bird Studios handles Dragon Ball Super the anime, because even Akira Toriyama didn't handle the anime when it came to Dragon Ball Z. There was the creator of the anime who created some of the original storylines for Dragon Ball Z when it came to filler. Akira Toriyama only wrote the manga, and someone else adapted the anime. So, and this is a good thing about this, because Akira Toriyama easily gets burned out. He's not used to doing very long projects, but since he doesn't have to work as hard or as much, he just has to lay out the story and let the animators handle it and let Totaro handle it. He just oversees it and makes sure it's what he envisioned as far as story goes, not animation. Even Akira Toriyama has gotten frustrated with the animators for ruining some episodes, like the infamous episode 5 of Dragon Ball Super with the horrible animation. And I admit that episode 41 didn't have that great of animation. I mean, when Zeno tells Goku, "Oh, you had a great fight," Goku looks at Hit. He's like, "Yeah, we did have a great fight." Hit's animation was kind of terrible. It looked god awful. And in the previous episodes, he looked great. It was great definition, great anime. The art was on par with really great episodes of Dragon Ball Z, where in this episode, the anime kind of looked like they phoned it in. But I'm very excited to see where they go with this anime. Could this mean that we could get future Trunks back? Could future Trunks' timeline be an alternate universe? Would this actually be the confirmation we need that Trunks is coming back? Who knows? We'll find out in the future. The next 4 episodes are going to be filler, so it'll be a little bit before we find out. I think we'll find out in June whether if the next arc will be the multiverse tournament, or we get an in-between arc, because in between Battle of Gods and the Universe 6 and 7 tournament, we had Resurrection F with Frieza. So I guess it depends on how they're doing. And I guess, and this is good, it'll let the manga catch up a little, because as of right now, the anime is way further than the manga. The tournament is over in the anime, where in the manga, Goku was just eliminated. I'm not sure if the new chapter is out, where Vegeta is the one fighting now against Frost. I haven't double checked because I keep up with the anime, not the manga. Some people keep up with the manga, but it is a monthly manga and not a weekly manga, so we don't get updates as frequently as a lot of us would want. Now, let's go into the other subject that I was gonna discuss. Is Dragon Ball GT canon? In a sense, no. Akira Toriyama did acknowledge Dragon Ball GT. Now, a lot of people are saying that in Dragon Ball Super, they do make references to Dragon Ball GT. Now, I've seen every episode of Dragon Ball Super thus far, and I have to disagree. They don't really hint at Dragon Ball Super at all. They did reference Oob, but remember, Oob is in the final episode of Dragon Ball Z, and that's how it ends, with Goku leaving to train Oob and going on a new adventure. So that's not necessarily Dragon Ball GT. Pan is also part of the Dragon Ball Z series, as she debuted in the last several episodes of Dragon Ball Z. She's also in Dragon Ball GT, but the reference is to Pan. And because she was born in this series, also that is not an indication that GT is still canon. Plus, the theory, when Piccolo fused with Kami during the Android saga, the Dragon Balls became useless. They actually had to restore the Dragon Balls by using Dende and granting Dende the power of Guardian of Earth, or Kami. Dende became the new Kami and restored the Dragon Balls. Because Piccolo fused with Kami, and Piccolo was the new vessel, Piccolo is not the one that created the Dragon Balls, thus making the Dragon Balls useless. Now that is a strong indication that not the Super Dragon Balls, I'm sorry, I'm mistaking them. The Black Star Dragon Balls shouldn't be usable. I mean, because they were, as it was stated in the first episode of Dragon Ball GT, this Black Star Dragon Balls were created by Kami before he broke apart from Piccolo. Now, how would Emperor Pilaf know that? No one knew those Black Star Dragon Balls were there. Not Popo, not Dende. If Popo didn't know himself that the Black Star Dragon Balls existed, what makes us, the viewers, believe that Pilaf is capable of discovering the existence of the Black Star Dragon Balls? And since Dende is Earth's guardian and he's constantly watching the Earth, wouldn't he have noticed Pilaf, Mai, and Shu climbing up to Kami's lookout? Because they've said in Dragon Ball that many people have tried reaching Kami's lookout and Kami would redirect them. You have to be accepted in order to get to Kami's lookout. So unless you're like more powerful than Kami. So that's another indication as to what leads me to believe that Dragon Ball GT isn't canon. Now, Akira, like I said, Akira did talk about Dragon Ball GT. When they asked him about Super Saiyan 4, he kind of avoided the question and said, well, we have Super Saiyan God now. That is Goku's new transformation. Remember, Dragon Ball GT was not made with Akira Toriyama. Akira Toriyama had no hand in Dragon Ball GT whatsoever. Super Saiyan 4, Goku was actually designed by someone else. It was also written and designed and directed by different people. And there were a lot of indications in Dragon Ball GT that also hinted at it not being canon. But the Black Star Dragon Balls are a big major factor into making Dragon Ball GT not canon. Because when going back to Kami, even if Kami did, I can accept the fact that Kami might have created the Black Star Dragon Balls. I can live with that. That could work. What doesn't make sense is that the Dragon Balls had to be restored for them to work by Dende. And Dende did not know they existed. Once again, no one knew except for Pilaf. When Kami fused with Piccolo, Piccolo became the new host. If the original Dragon Ball stopped working, the Black Star Dragon Balls should have also turned to stone and stopped working. The only way they could still work is if Dende himself reactivated the Black Star Dragon Balls. But he didn't know they existed. And King Kai had to look up information on the Black Star Dragon Balls. Why would Kami create Dragon Balls that if used, they would destroy the host planet on which they were used? Even though Kami had darkness in his heart because a lot of the Super Namecs were evil and they were banished from Earth. So that's one of the theories as to why Kami was sent to Earth. Now they say that Kami was sent to Earth because Namek was dying and they were trying to save him. But I believe that Kami and they said that Piccolo was a Super Namek, and if the Super Nameks were banished from Namek, and that would explain why Kami had to split with his evil half. He was trying to get rid of the evil in his heart in order to become Earth's guardian. And that would explain why he was banished from Namek, because maybe he was too powerful for them to control and he had too much evil, thus getting rid of the threat and making someone else's problem. A lot of that doesn't make sense. I mean, in the biggest sin of Dragon Ball GT is turning Goku back into a child. Now, I'm a big fan of Kid Goku, but I invested so many years of my life watching Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, only to have the studio spit in my face and have Goku turn back into a child. And not only that, Goku was a lot smarter as a child when it came to fighting than he was in Dragon Ball GT. Goku was always like taking fights either very serious or, you know, even if he toyed with his enemies, he made way more mistakes in Dragon Ball GT. Also, Gotenks in Dragon Ball Z was able to hold Super Saiyan 3 much longer than Goku was. And Goku, I believe, is older than Gotenks, because Gotenks was Goten and Trunks, who were 6.5 and 7 years old, and Goku probably was 10 years old, so his body should have been more resilient to hold Super Saiyan 3, but he said that his body couldn't take it, sending his power into a flux. I guess they kind of did that because they wanted to get it out of the way and introduce Super Saiyan 4. And Vegeta skipping Super Saiyan 3 to go Super Saiyan 4. I mean, they ruined Vegeta. Oh. And Vegeta didn't get any justice until the end of the series, which... There are lots of fans that like Dragon Ball GT. I get it. People like Dragon Ball GT. There's nothing wrong with that. I like some parts of Dragon Ball GT. I own the DVDs. The whole series, you know. I have it in English and in Spanish and Japanese. I'm a fan. I'll still watch it. But as far as Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Super goes, GT is no longer part of that universe. Because if it were, then Akira's introducing so many new things so fast that it just doesn't fit the mold anymore. I think Super Saiyan God is way more powerful than Super Saiyan 4. Super Saiyan 4 was never shown to be a universe buster, much less a reality buster, and Goku as a Super Saiyan God, because he could not control his power, almost destroyed the entire Universe 7, including the afterlife of Universe 7. With Beerus, though, that was both their power colliding and Goku couldn't control it. But as far as Dragon Ball GT goes, take it for what you will. Officially, it is not canon. Which probably be for the best, because if it was, they would have to write leading up to GT, where now that it's not canon, they can write whatever they want, making Dragon Ball Super even better, instead of having to tread on thin ice and watching their step and making sure they don't ruin the continuality that is Dragon Ball GT. I would rather Dragon Ball GT be its own thing and let Dragon Ball Super blossom into something great and amazing, rather than having to stick to a certain dynamic, and not a dynamic, like a setting to where it can actually fit together with GT. I'd rather Super go into this multiverse, introducing new characters, new gods, and new Super Saiyan forms. I hope we eventually do get the Super Saiyan white colored hair form. That'd be interesting, and I hope Future Trunks does come back, maybe hopefully in the tournament. But I also want them to bring Mira and Toa into the anime, the MMO version, not the Xenoverse version, because the MMO version of Mira and Toa is they're actually more powerful than the Xenoverse version. Xenoverse, they were kind of watered down, I guess, for the sake of the video game, for it to make sense, where Mira was kind of like Cell in the MMO, where he had the cells of all the greatest fighters across the timelines, and they were actually trying to stop him from succeeding, because in the future he did win. But that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Once again, I apologize for the low quality audio. I did bring my microphone. I didn't charge it. I'm kind of sad. But check us out on Facebook.com/Geeks5Ever. Also Twitter.com/Geeks5Ever. We also have an account on Ask FM. Add us on Skype. You can chat with us at any time. Also, check us out on MixLR. We do a live broadcast once a week on, I believe, Saturdays. We also have other social media sites coming. We're still trying to work on the website. Unfortunately, I don't make a lot of money, and I pay for everything out of pocket. That's why everything's low quality, and it's increasing in quality, but it'll take time. So once again, I'm your host, Jesse Goku, and stay classy.